We're hitting the reset button on all the playoff brackets. We're in 6A right now. We're talking about 6A Division 2 now, which I'll tell you that while teams have fallen by the wayside, Cedar Hill, South Lake Carroll, Spring Westfield, a couple of others, let's see, Pearland Dawson was a little bit surprising. But while those teams have fallen by the wayside, I think the bulk of the contenders are still in here. Well, you can't say that about 6AD1. You can say that about 6AD2. Number 3 for me is a team that I posited about 2 months ago. I wondered if they were the best team in Texas. I'm going with Cibolo Steel. Okay. And for a lot of the same reasons that I have Judson there, at number 3. The draw is favorable. They're looking at Del Rio in the this week, and then they would probably play Schertz Clemens in the regional final. I love this Cibolo Steel team. I think they are balanced. I think they are just really, really fun to watch. I like this Cibolo Steel team. They're my number 3 pick right now in 6A Division 2.
Interesting. Okay, well, really, this is just going to become a big Lake Travis Cibolo Steel discussion, I think, because I have Lake Travis number 3.
Which is so funny because you're such a homer.
It's funny, though. I know, right? And the best part about all this, and again, I talked about this yesterday, Michael Adams of the Lake Travis View, Westlake Picayune, Austin American Statesman asked me to write a column about Lake Travis this week. And it was about perception and how covering Lake Travis down there, you always sort of like value them more and think that the DFW and Houston area teams are a little overrated, right? Like people overlook Austin, Lake Travis, and they shouldn't. And now I'm up here. And here I am hating on them.
Yeah,
I'm not giving them enough credit. And I feel like week after week that keeps happening. And I'm still putting them number 3. I think the injuries, I think the lack, the less experience from the 2 teams above them that I have here in 6A is just it's close. It's close, but I think this is more about the 2 teams I value ahead of them than devaluing Lake Travis. I could see any of these 3 winning it, but I'm putting Lake Travis 3rd.
So I've got Lake Travis second.
Right.
I've got Lake Travis second because the win over Spring Westfield really impressed me. They have a tough draw, though. Hugh Midway this week's not going to be easy. They throttled Highland Park, which, by the way,
I mean, Lake Travis handled Midway earlier in the year, but these are teams with a lot of history over the last few years. No love lost. And the quarterback from Midway, Sam Glazman, I think I'm saying it right. His numbers are crazy, especially down the stretch.
And they've got playmakers there. By the way, is Highland Park not thrilled to be heading back to 5A? I mean,
thrilled.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Welcome to 6A football, Scots. But then if they get there, they're probably taking on Spring, and that is the team you want to talk underrated.
Oh, for sure.
Spring is super underrated.
For sure.
They got to get past Rockwall. They got a tough draw, but I think that win over Spring Westfield proved that they can win without one of their best players, with Abe Willows. Yeah. And they can win with their defense because their defense really showed up in that one.
I think they're playing with something to prove. They don't, like I said, they don't like Midway, and they have something to prove with Spring because Spring's the team that knocked them off last year.
All right, who's your number 2?
Cibolo Steel. For all the reasons we already talked about. Sure. I think they're more experienced. They haven't dealt with the injuries that Lake Travis has, and that's why I give them the edge here. And I honestly, the game between the 1 and the 2 on that side of the bracket.
And I think we have the same number 1.
I think we do too.
It's the Katy Tigers.
Yes, it is.
With all the chaos that we've seen in the playoffs, perhaps one of the more chaotic things that we saw last Friday night, was that Cy Ranch scored 20 points on Katy.
Yeah.
And that was surprising.
Very surprising.
I was sitting there. They were winning that game. Cy Ranch was winning.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something. I was super impressed with the way that basically for the first time all year, Katy's defense had an off night.
Yep.
And they won by 39.
Yep.
I mean, this is the mark of a team that can beat you in a variety of different ways. Kyle Porter looks like he's getting right. They've got a lot of different other running backs back there who can beat you. I think we began with Katy. We end with Katy.
Yep.
That's where we are right now. I think Katy is the favorite in 6A Division.
I feel the same. Obviously, I think Allen and Katy both got tested last weekend. That's their scare game. That's their, hey, by the way, you're not just going to walk through this. You're going to have to bring it quarter after quarter after quarter. And boy, oh boy, Katy gave up those points, but they brought it.
Now that said, we've talked about how they're going to have to earn it. Friendswood this week's not going to be easy. They're almost certainly taking on Manville in the regional final, and then they'll probably draw Cibolo Steel.
Yeah.
And then they'd probably draw Lake Travis, or maybe Mansfield gets high. Maybe San Angelo Central gets high.
Whoever gets through the other side is going to be salty. It's going to be a tough
absolutely.
game.
So they're not this runaway favorite.
No.
But I do think that they are the favorites.